All right, hello. We are here to play Zombie World. This is our second session of 4, and my name's Jason. I use the he/him pronouns. And Zombie World is a game from Magpie Games. It is a short little 36-page little booklet, and it is a game that emulates zombie genre, modern zombie stories. Um, Walking Dead TV show is very close to the feel I think the game is shooting for. Also, movies like Dawn of the Dead, the 2005 remake, uh, um, Train to Busan, a Korean movie, is very similar to what this game is like. 28 Days Later. And even in our session 1, I think we touched on quite a few things from each of those movies or those shows, and I'm sure we'll hit some more of that as we go along. This game is part of the Gauntlet online gaming community. We are a group of gamers that play online, hundreds of games every month, hundreds of members, play a lot of indie and small press games. And if you're interested, you like what you see, check us out, gauntlet-rpg.com. Let's go around and have each of you guys introduce yourselves, yourself and your pronouns. And then let's go ahead and introduce your character and tell us. You don't have to read the whole card, but get yourself acquainted. Read that card that is on the table, the present card. Just kind of the title of it, I guess. Survivor, Sneak, whatever it might be. Tell us a little bit what you look like, what your kind of character is, your personality. And then tell us who your ally is. So everybody kind of look through their ally cards, their present cards, and also I don't think anybody's exposed any of them yet. But go ahead to get you into the place for the game. Read through your trauma and past cards, so at least you remember what those are. And as you're doing all that, let me remind you, those cards have mechanical effects. If they are on the table, face up, each of them has a mechanical benefit that it gives you. And they each have a trigger. There is a situation that needs to happen that allows you to flip that card over and put it on the table. For the past cards, it's defined on the card itself. It'll tell you the situation that will trigger you being able to put it on the table. For the trauma card, you need to role play that trauma. And if you do so, then you can flip that card out and throw it on the table. So like I said, each of those cards does have mechanical benefits. In addition, when people try to help you or hinder you, they will draw cards. They will draw a number of cards equal to the number of cards that you have on the table. So it kind of reflects, the more cards you have on the table, the better people know you. And the better people know you, the better they can help you or they can hinder you. So let's go left to right on my StreamYard screen. It's different shuffling of the deck here of the players. So last time it was Matt I was picking on every time, but this time it is John. John, tell us about yourself and your character.
Hey, I'm John. I use he, him. I am playing Val Jordan, also he, him. Val is a young 30s athletic man. My avatar that I chose for him is actually Zach Ertz of the Philadelphia Eagles. So that sort of stature of person, he walks around in a lot of athleisure, wearing Nike and such. He is the colony bully, probably at least somewhat related to his large size. And he has Domingo Gomez as an ally. Domingo's a construction worker and a big jokester. And so they're kind of buddy.
Okay. And Dan, you are next.
I am Dan Pusel. I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Austin Holt, a young sneak of a man who also uses he, him pronouns. Last time, I think we learned that he likes to sneak around in off limits areas, and he's looking for drugs. He is often accompanied by an ally named Shun Wen, who's a sports store cashier. I think there was some maybe mutual rescuing that went on in their past, and that is why they are fast friends.
Okay. And Matt, you're next.
I'm Matt, him. My character is Stanley Norris. He's a woodsman farmer. He's been handling a lot of the survival aspects as far as food and resources. His ally is a neighbor farmer, Sandy Colton. And not a lot else there.
Okay. One question I thought of after we got done playing last time is, do you think that you and Sandy have been going out hunting these last few months since Z-Day, or have you mostly been holed up in the hospital?
We haven't done it unless it was really necessary, which it probably is at this point, but we've been avoiding any going out unnecessarily.
Okay. So I'm going to say probably very little then. You've been relying on the food stores, which were plentiful up to this point. Okay, so we'll go with that, at least for now. And finish up Kyle.
Kyle, he, him. I'm playing Sam Smith. He, him. He's his present is the Juggernaut. And I think he got bitten by a zombie last time, so he's also not long for this world.
No, bad news for Sam. Okay. We are using safety tools in this game. We had a pretty good discussion before we went online last session, but let me review. We're using the X card. If anything's uncomfortable for you, whether we established it before or it comes up today, whether it's something you thought you were cool with and you're not anymore, that's fine. Throw that X up physically, that would be best, but put it in the chat. And by the way, if you need to chat something, put it in the StreamYard chat, not the Roll20. I rarely will see that. I won't be in the right place, but I will see the StreamYard chat, probably most likely. So if anything's uncomfortable, throw that up there. We will rewind, whatever, as little or as much as you want information you want to give me to help me understand what you're not comfortable with, is fine. We will do our best to kind of go around that and continue our story without that material. We do have some lines and veils. Lines are things that we just do not want to see in our game, and veils are things that we don't want to see on the screen. They can be alluded to, they can be hinted at, they can be in our universe but not actually seen on the camera. So our lines that we've established are mention of or illnesses similar to coronavirus and sexual assault. And our veils are zombie kids and consensual sex. If you want to add anything to that, do so. I will try to check in with it every once in a while, and hopefully I won't, hit any of those things. And we'll do our best to be safe. The tone of this game, the tone of modern zombie stories is a brutal one. This is intended to be a brutal game. I think we all agreed we're kind of comfortable with that. In terms of American, motion picture ratings, this is a hard R to a mature rating kind of story. That kind of violence and gruesomeness and mature themes may appear in our story. I think that's enough preface. Let's get back into our story. So when we left off last time, through a series of events, you ended up with a bad situation. You had Austin and his friend Shun had, in trying to find drugs in the hospital, had been pursued by some zombies, and they, unbeknownst to you, had been breaking through your barricade that kept them in the the medical tower section of the hospital. And by the way, since we played last time, I did scribble up a map. Let me draw you guys so that you can kind of look at that. And I think it captures everything that we talked about, but if I miss something or if things come up, this is meant to be a living document. So things can change, things can be retconned, things can be added. Any of us can draw on this map at any point things out, redefine things, use maps but leave open spaces, I think is kind of, so this is sort of a working document. We'll see what develops through our play today, but anyways, and meanwhile, the rest of you sort of had a bit of a investigation or the preliminaries of investigating the fact why or how most of your food has disappeared. And there were some conversations with Dr. Catherine Jones, the expert neurologist that's here in the hospital with you, and also Hans Schumer, who was a administrator in the hospital. And eventually, Austin returned from his foray into the tower, and shortly thereafter was pursued by zombies trying to break into your area. And Austin snuck with Shun back through the ventilation shaft into the tower, made a bunch of noise, I think it was, to kind of distract them and bring them back his way. They did so. You barricaded the area, but in doing so, a zombie kind of, as you were kind of slamming the door shuts and trying to barricade with tables, one of the zombies bit Sam. And we established that generally if someone gets bit, about 12 hours later, after a period of getting sicker and sicker, they will succumb and become a zombie. And some of the other some of the patients in the hospital had panicked hearing these zombies, and they had gathered their meager belongings and had tried to run out into this parking lot area to get at an ambulance. And Sandy tried to shoot the zombies to give them a chance to get away, but failed. And the zombies piled onto them. One of the survivors managed to get to the ambulance, got it started, was being pulled at, a zombie was trying to pull him out the door as he tries to drive this ambulance, lost control, sped right into this glass atrium in the middle of the hospital compound, broke through the glass, shattered it, and zombies started to kind of crawl into this atrium area that you had just worked so hard to get barricaded. And Stanley had said something about, let's get to the ER, that the ER has some ability to be secured. I think that's kind of where we left off. And Austin and Shun were like running through the hospital with zombies pursuing them. So let's begin, moments later with with Stanley. And actually, let's do it this way. Let's have Sam and Val and your allies. You're running through this door here into the ER waiting room, into the ER section of the hospital. And there are indeed these fairly solid electric doors, that slide open and slide shut, and it's a wide hallway allowing for, people to wheel, gurneys and stuff through into the ER section or out to the, the regular hospital. So it's this wide hallway. It's dark in here, although it's probably pretty dark in here. There's no windows in this hallway, maybe a little bit of light from. Actually, no. There's like a wall. Like this hallway is kind of divided off from the office section by. There's like a little hallway that you would take to get back into the offices. So this hallway is dark.
We do have a working generator, though.
You do, but you usually have to turn it on. You don't leave it on necessarily. So you run down this hallway. You kind of turn the generator at like times that you really need electricity. You don't want to ration your limited supply of fuel. So you two guys are running through, and you run through these doors, and the doors, so since there's no electricity on, you have to sort of physically pull them. And luckily they do slide on like rollers, like these thick door slides on this roller, and you're able to pull it open, and you get through with your allies. And you see, just a quick glance that a few others of the patients have already gotten here, and they're sort of huddling in this, freaked out in this waiting room area. And the four of you get through, yourselves and your allies. And you look back and you see Stanley running with Sandy and Stanley running, and there are, half a dozen zombies chasing after them. And we had established that our zombies are pretty fast as long as they're not that old. And it's only been a couple months since Z-Day happened. So most of them are still pretty spry. So these ones are moving pretty quickly. There's not a super lot of them, and you see that one of them, it like stops and like it has like grabbed one of the patients and is in the act of murdering them. And the others though are chasing you with these glazed over eyes and these snarls. And we need to make our first draw of the day. I'm going to say, Stanley, you have a choice. Do you want to be the first one through the door, or do you want to pause and give Stanley a chance, or no, Sandy a chance to get through first?
Stanley is probably doing everything. I don't have access to my sheet.
Oh, let me take you back to that. Yeah, I was telling the other guys, I made a map, but the downside on Roll20 is that you have to kind of, the game master is the only one that can choose what sheet you guys are on. So I'll mostly keep you guys on here unless we need to point out something on the map.
Stanley is pretty clearly traumatized, so he is going to be the first one out. And I'm going to put out my fearful card.
Aha. All
Actually, I
right.
can't flip that. How do I do that?
You should be.
Got it.
There you go. Go ahead and read that card for us, would you?
Sure. Clear stress when back down from danger or conflict. Draw +1 when you assess a bad situation before taking action.
Okay, great. So you come through, and now and by the way, when a card is flipped, that is reflected in the fiction. Now everybody knows you as a fearful person. Enough, one and one have been added together, and they realize that this is what Stanley is about. So you come through, and now what we need to do is see if you guys can save Sandy. So he's coming through at the last possible moment. The two guys, Val and Sam, need to slam the door, and Stanley, you can try to reach back and help pull him through. So this is going to be the zombie move, and that's a handout. It's the second one, zombie moves. This is going to be rescue an NPC. When you try to rescue an NPC from the zombies, draw steel. On a hit, you pull them to safety. On an edge, draw from the bite deck or suffer serious harm, your choice. So Stanley, what is your steel?
Steel is 2.
Steel is 2. Now, as you may recall, on a zombie move, other people that might be involved can help by choosing to choose a bite card. So we have Val and Sam there. Do either one of you want to draw a bite card? Sam, we already know you've been bitten, so you're sort of like, I'll give you guys the benefit out. You might as well. You might get bit again, I guess. I will say, though, maybe I would have you get bit really badly. You know what I mean? Like, you might die quicker than you might have otherwise if you do draw that bite card, but you already know your fate. So Sam and Val, do either one of you want to draw a bite card to help out Stanley and Sandy?
I think at this point, Val's just standing there at the door and yelling for them to run. Come on, come on. So he's not like rushing out to help pull Sandy forward. So I don't think I'll pull.
Okay. And
I will.
Okay. So we will do that first. So Kyle, go down and flip one of those bite cards right out on the table for us. And you got threat. Something breaks. Okay. And we will, for the bite deck, we will drag the discard kind of down in the corner of our playing surface and kind of create a discard pile. Threat, something breaks. Something in your environment breaks. The GM will tell you what. Okay. So I'm going to kind of put that in my back pocket, and I'll link that into what happens on the steel roll by Stanley. So Stanley, you get 2 plus the 1 for Sam's help. So you're going to flip 3 cards off the survivor deck.
Okay, so that's from the top there. Triumph. Miss. Hedge.
Okay, great. So the Triumph is the best possible card. That is a total hit. So on a total hit on that, you pull them a safety without any complication. You pull them a safety, Sam leans out, and you guys slam the door. However, in slamming the door, I'm going to say that it has a mechanical lock, maybe like a latch that you would like flip over, but it would flip over and kind of catch, on the other door to kind of lock it from this side. But in doing this, this quick action, Sam, I believe, you're a big, strong guy. You're the juggernaut. So you slam this thing with all your force. You smash the head of one of these zombies, push it back, and go to latch it, and you just bust that latch. It just snaps right off. So there's no way to keep this locked. So you've got these half dozen zombies pounding that you're trying to like get their fingers in to like pull these doors open. So it's you and Val there trying to keep it shut. And as far as you know, you're going to need to keep doing this. You guys do know, like we were saying, when the hospital's fully functional, these doors are electrically powered. The generator might be able to keep it shut, but someone's going to have to go down and turn the generator, or go over and turn the generator on. Let me go back to our map. So on our map, here it is. There is a maintenance area, which can be accessed if you go through the clinical area right over here. There is a way to get to the maintenance area, but you have to go through the ER clinical area to get there. What do you guys do?
So I think as we're holding this door back, Val like shoots an accusatory look at Sam first off for breaking the latch. And then turns to the group as just, shit, what do we do? Are we holding up here, or do we keep moving? Can't hold this forever, guys.
Can you mark which doorway we're at again?
Yeah, you guys are right here. I should get a little token. Let me get a token. It'll take me a minute. Hold on. Dun, dun, dun. Creatures, markers. Yeah, this will work. This is we get a marker from my alien role-playing game scenario. Let's see if I can get this out on the map here. Come on. Here we go. And size it down. Okay. So you guys are right here. And to get to, so the zombies are on the other side of that door. This waiting room, it's a big area. You know, there's a lot of couches and tables here. You could try to barricade it too. That's another alternative option. And there's like a big TV on the wall, which of course is dark right now. There's sort of a long sort of hallway, behind you, and there's sort of like nurses' desks and like administrative desks, and where patients would be, greeted and do paperwork and given paperwork and all that. And then there's sort of again several doors leading into like the clinical area of the ER, where the actual hospital business would take care of the actual medical work. And those doors leading into there are pretty solid too. We'll say a similar sort of design, this sort of sliding, these doors that slide open and slide shut. So you have another layer, I guess, of protection if you were to flee from this waiting area. And that none of you have really gone back in there, I wouldn't say, unless you think you have. Mostly that's kind of where the doctor would go with the patients that were more severely injured that have gradually kind of gotten better. But there's still probably a couple people back in there that she's been taking care of. But mostly that's kind of her place. But back through there is the ER clinical area. And you do know that if you go through there, you can get back and around through this door over here into the maintenance area where the generator is, and you could turn it on. So here you are in the moment, zombies trying to open this door and pounding on it. And you hear that moaning and that hissing of the zombies as they're trying to get at you. And
Stanley says, okay, I'm going to head for the generator.
Okay.
Make it fast.
So Stanley runs off, and Stanley runs off, and Sandy says, Stanley, you want me to go with you?
Yeah, you better.
Okay. So you guys start heading off that way, and Sandy's like, I don't know, Stan. I'm not a great shot. I'm really sorry. I tried to save those people.
I think they were doomed no matter what.
God, I hope so. I'm gonna have nightmares the rest of my life. Let's get this generator started. So you guys make it to the generator, and meanwhile, Domingo, jumps in to try to help you guys keep this door shut, and he says, well, that could have gone better. And he's pushing on the door, and I think what we need to know is whether Stanley can get to the generator before there's a crisis at the door.
So I was going to say, I think while we're waiting on Stanley, I do think Val would look to Domingo and yell for him to start pushing the couches over.
Okay.
And we're going to start, since it's sliding doors, we're going to have to build up, right? We're going to have to build a full height thing, but let's start building our barricade. Because I don't have faith that even when the electricity's on, I don't know how long that's going to hold. So I think we've still got to make some sort of a barricade here.
Okay, that sounds real good. So let's we'll just say that's happening, and depending on how Stanley does, we'll decide whether we need to come back and draw cards on that one. But we'll get that kind of established that that's happening. So Stanley, you make first of all, as you head to these doors leading into the ER, the clinical area, you see Hans Schumer, the administrative guy. He's standing there. He's like wringing his hands. He's pacing back and forth in front of the doors. And he says, oh God, what happened? How did this happen? Stanley, what happened?
Now it's not the time.
What are we going to do?
Get yourself ready.
Get myself ready. What the hell? What, to be eaten by zombies? Is there like a preparation period for this? What am I
just moving past?
Okay. He doesn't get in your face, and he's clearly freaking though. And you see that the door into the clinical area, this one's already been slid open, so you can kind of just slide in. And the clinical area, you come out. It's like a hallway. And it's lined by on sort of like the outside. It's lined with like cubicles on the outside, or what would be on your right as you're working your way through here. And these cubicles are all little spaces, little clinical rooms where people would be seen. So, and then the middle of this ER room is sort of a big open space with all sort of like medical supplies and equipment. So the nurses and the doctors would all sort of do their business in here, and then they would go to each of the rooms and kind of help people as needed. So you move kind of into this open area with all these little cubicles along the sides, and you can kind of, and then there's sort of like a big section, as it kind of goes around. It all goes around where there's this sort of it says on the wall right in front of you, there's a solid door, and it says lab/imaging. And that door, it's a solid door with a latch. It's not a mechanical, or it's not an electronic door. This is a solid door that you'd latch and open up. And it has sort of a pass key, where you'd hit your pass key to open this door, so it's kind of secured. But you see that door is ajar. That door right in front of you that goes into this lab area is ajar. And you can hear some, like, it's dark in here, but you can hear some like staticky sounding, and you can hear someone's talking inside the lab area. Do you want to check that out, or do you want to beeline to the generator? So you'd have to go to get to the generator. You have to go around all this, all through that clinical area, and then around to the other side into another door that leads into the maintenance area.
We'll be silent about it as much as possible, but we do have to get the generator up first, more than anything else.
Okay, so you ignore this, this open door into the lab and the static and the voice that you hear in there. The sort of it's kind of like you can't tell what they're saying, but somebody's talking in there. And you work around, and there's another sort of solid like fire door that you just have to, hit the latch and open up, and that leads into the maintenance area. And there's boilers, lots of pipes, and heaters, and there's a big solid generator with a big tank of fuel next to it. And it's simple. It's pretty much just hit a button, and this thing should kick on. We need to check to see how the generator is doing for fuel. So let's go back to our table, our surface. In one of the moves for our hospital, one of our advantages is the generator. And it's at the top, one of the smaller cards at the top of our play surface. It says generators. When you check and tune up the generators, draw survival. On a hit, they're still running just fine. And you can use your electricity as a triumph when the power would help you. On an edge, you're beginning to run low on fuel. After you use this advantage as a triumph, exhaust it. On a miss, a short in the enclave's wiring causes a major problem. So this is a roll on survival. What is your survival, Stanley?
Let's see. 3.
3. Okay. So I think this is just 3 survival cards. And let me recall the ones we have on the table. Shuffle it. Remind me to always do this. And I think you're good to go. Go ahead and flip 3 cards out.
All right. Edge. Opportunity. Miss.
Okay. So edge is that partial hit. So you will succeed, but the generator will be expended until you're able to get a new source of fuel. Or opportunity means that if you take a point of stress, you can push yourself and make that a triumph.
I'll take the stress for now.
Okay. So at first it doesn't start up. How do you push yourself to kind of get past that and get this thing started?
I know how to work these generators, so obviously I need to swap out a spark plug and
Okay.
clean it, and that'll fix it.
Okay, great. So there's like a little container sitting there with some spark plugs sitting there and a greasy rag, and you grab all that and you quickly take one out, put the other one in, and this thing comes to life. And you guys are in the middle of like manhandling a couple tables or whatnot over there, and Domingo, I don't know, is tools part of his equipment? Do I remember that correctly? John, is he your guy?
Yep.
Can't remember.
Yeah, he has a tool belt.
Yeah,
Or
so
heavy-
he's got a hammer, and he's got I don't know, maybe even like a battery powered electric drill that he's starting to like get busy. But you hear that power come on, the lights kind of come on a little bit, and those doors they get solid. The hydraulic power of the electricity causes that door to solidify, and those zombies can't get their fingers in this. So, and you feel pretty confident you're safe. Let's move from this into the medical tower and check in with Austin and Sean. Austin, you managed to find somewhere to at least temporarily get away from these zombies and be temporarily safe. Where are you at in this hospital, do you think? This is the medical tower. So this is mostly like medical wards. There's patient rooms, there's operating rooms, there's supply closets, maybe some administrative stuff. We did establish that Hans Schumer's old office was here in this medical tower, but where do we find you when the camera catches you?
I think I may have broken into an emergency stairwell.
Okay.
How does that feel to you?
It feels good. And maybe you and Sean are like huddling sort of like underneath the stairs on one of these landings.
Yeah.
And maybe down at the bottom. So there's like some, I don't know, they put some boxes of like toilet paper or, something there. And you guys are huddled back there. And Sean is like, he's like, oh man. And you see he's got like tears like kind of like forming in his eyes, and he's shaking and he's rubbing his face, and he's like, this is bad. This is really bad.
Yeah.
There's like, I don't know, 50 of those things. Jesus Christ. What are we going to do, boss?
I mean, Sean, I think the only answer is same thing we did when we escaped from the mall, man. We got to keep moving.
I'm just going to run for it. I'm just going to get out. I don't care how many. I'm just going to run for it. I'm just going to run for a window and just jump through them. I'm just going to get out of here.
Okay.
I can't handle this.
No, yeah, it sucks. I'm not super thrilled to be here either, dude. Okay, so people make mistakes in horror movies by going upstairs. We don't want to go upstairs. That's important. But we do know the first floor is full of dead people, so we should probably go upstairs, get to a window, just second floor, jump out a window, probably not a problem. Does that sound good? I think that sounds great. Let's do that.
So you can tell his eyes are glazed over. He's not listening to you. He's looking at the door. He's gathering himself. he's like trying to pull it together to like make that charge. So you're going to have to try, if he's not going to do that, if he's going to listen to you, you're going to have to calm him down.
Yeah. let's try
So you kind of just did. You're trying to lay out a reasonable plan for him, and I think that is going to be. This is a basic move. This is called calm an NPC down. When you try to calm an NPC down with logic or reason, you're going to draw steel. And by the way, there are a couple other ways that you guys can try to calm people down. They kind of capture the full gamut, I think, of relating to people. So there's opening up to someone. That's kind of like telling them about yourself or about your past and trying to like get to their heart and trying to make a connection. You can calm people down. You can actually calm yourself down that way too. It's another good move to work on if you're getting really stressed. Or you can get in someone's face. You can intimidate them or threaten them as a way to try to get them to do what you need them to do. So keep those in mind. But this sounds like reason you're using. And that is using steel. What is your steel, Austin?
It is 3.
Okay. So you are going to, let me again recall the cards. Shuffle the cards. You are going to draw those 3 cards for us.
Okay. Oh, it's the thing at the top. All right. I've got an edge. I've got another edge. And, an opportunity.
Okay. So on an edge, there's a list. You're going to pick one of these. The options are they keep calm for some time, they reveal their true concerns, or they don't hold you responsible. So on an edge, you'll take one from that list. If you want to turn that opportunity into a triumph, take a stress, and you'll choose 2 from that list.
I think this is a situation where I just need the one of these. I love an opportunity, but I think I'm just going to go with the edge, and I think Shun is going to keep his calm for some time. He can blame me, and he can keep his true concerns.
Okay.
His true concerns to himself if he wants.
All right. Let me make a note of that. Shun may blame Austin for what happened. Okay. So, you kind of, you talk a little louder, not too loud because, you're in danger, but a little bit louder and real slow. And you get kind of right up in his face and you're like, we got to go upstairs. And tell me again, what was your basic plan? You're going to go upstairs and what?
I think find a window, break it out, and try to. Oh, there's that grove on one side of the tower. We might be able to leap to a nearby tree branch. That seems like a silly enough plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy enough to work. Okay. So he goes, yeah, that might actually work. Okay, let's go. And he follows you. You move upstairs. Now you do know that when you were diverting the swarm of zombies, back into the medical ward, and they started chasing you, there were other zombies that came from upstairs down one of these other stairwells. And so maybe they've all come down to this ground floor or not. You're not sure. But you move up, and to get between where you're at and a window that gives access to the grove, to your best estimate of where you're at, you're gonna have to move through a medical ward. What kind of medical ward do you think it is? What kind of medicine do they do here?
Oh, let's see here. Second floor. I think cardiology.
Okay. So you move up, and there would have been big double doors that would have slid open that the nurse would like push the button to like open, or if you had a pass, you'd hit a pass card and it would slide these doors open, and you'd go into this medical ward from the hallway. So you open the door and you move that direction, and the door is already ajar, and you see that there's like an overturned gurney that's like lying, between the doors. Some of the chaos that must have happened, it got stuck there. And you kind of step over it and you move into this medical ward, and you see there's much more of this chaos in here. There's papers and tables and I don't know, all this. Can't imagine all. What are other things that are in hospitals? John, what's one thing you would find in a chaotic medical ward at this point? We'll go around. Everybody can throw something in here.
I'm picturing a broken machine of some sort.
Okay. Maybe like an EKG machine or something,
Yeah.
like, or a cardiac ward. Sure.
Yeah.
So the paddles are like sprung out, and and Matt, what's something else we'd find here?
Overturned water fountain.
Yeah, that sounds good. So there's a big pool of water, in the middle of this floor. And Kyle, what's something else we'd find here?
Crash carts, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. And who am I forgetting? I guess Dan. What was something else we'd find there?
Some of those IV drip bag stem rolly contraptions.
Sure. You also do find, unfortunately, a lot of blood spray, puddles of blood, dried up blood. Some of it looks like a little more fresh. Hopefully not too fresh, but it's quiet, real quiet in here. And what we're going to do is, well, what do you do? How do you make your way from here to hopefully a window you can get out of?
I think Austin takes point, and we move at a constant but slow pace, making sure to check around corners, making sure to check, is there something behind that flipped over crash cart, things like that. And just sort of tiptoeing through, trying not to make any sound or run into any potential traps.
Okay. So I think this probably just an avert disaster. So this is survival. So let me recall the cards again. And your survival is 3, is that right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right.
Okay. Got an edge, a triumph, and an edge.
Okay, great. So you make your way through this ward, and you got lucky. There weren't any zombies around or any danger, or they've gone somewhere else in all of the excitement. And you make your way to the window, and you look down into that grove. You do indeed see down into the grove area. The second floor is probably, we'll say it's probably you're probably a good 15 feet up, and the windows here are not designed to be opened. If it's hot, they rely on AC. So these are windows, they're solid windows that they can't be opened. Does that make sense? Or do you think in extreme situations, do you think they would be able to open a hospital window, or are they always sealed? Anybody have an opinion or more knowledge about this than I do? All the ones I remember ever seeing, it seems like you couldn't get out of them. Like you couldn't open them if you wanted to. So you gotta, I guess, what do you do?
Well, I'll look around for something hefty and
So
hard.
Shun, pulls up his handy baseball bat. You guys still have those, and he says, "Yeah, I broke one window into Schumer's office. Remember that? I can do that again."
Yeah,
That worked
relief
out
some
okay,
stress,
right?
man. Like, yeah, that was great. I want to see it again. This is going to be great.
All right. So he is going to do so. I think we'll just let that ride with your triumph. I think, luckily, like I said, doesn't seem to be any danger nearby. So smash, he doesn't like poke it. He like takes a good old swing, and the whole thing shatters out, and the glass goes out, and it tumbles down into this grove. And there's like little like cobblestone paths that go around in this sort of semi, natural area. There's a lot of nice big trees. There's like a little fountain, which it's obviously not spraying water, but it has water inside this sort of stone fountain structure that is there in the middle of this grove. We establish it's a real pretty autumn day, so it's probably really nice, and you don't see any zombies. You don't see any zombies in here. What do you do from here?
Well, I guess the next step is trying to reach the ground, or at least a tree. If there's no, we have a real quick talk about this. If there's no tree near this window that we could reasonably sort of jump to and catch onto a limb, I think the answer is get down as low as possible. Oh man, this seems like a bad idea. Hang from the window so our feet are as low as possible, and try to avoid any cobblestone paths or fountains or anything.
Sure.
Path of our fall.
Well, I'm going to say neither one of them is a slam dunk, but both options are there. Which is more narratively exciting to you? Do you want to jump to a tree, or do you want to suspend outside the window and drop?
I think suspending outside the window and dropping is more exciting to me.
All right. So, Shun says, okay, yeah, good idea. So, you go to do that, and he does it at the same time. And he's like, 1, 2, 3. And he drops. You drop 2?
Yep.
Okay. Let's do, I think this is survival again. This is avert disaster. I think I recalled the cards, but let me make sure. Okay. So again, 3 cards.
All right. We've got an edge, we've got an opportunity, and we've got an edge.
Okay. You guys are getting good cards today. So the edge on an avert disaster is you pull through, but it will cost you, or you can turn that opportunity into a triumph with a stress.
Let's take that stress.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will take a mark of stress to turn that opportunity into a triumph.
That's right. So you land, and you're like a ninja. You nail it. You hit, you roll a little bit. Shun does the same thing. Perfect. You're there crouched in this quiet grove, and from where you're at, you can see it's probably a good 40 feet or so from you, but you can see that glass atrium that leads from the tower into the sort of administrative and ER part of the hospital. And you don't hear anything, but you can see some movement in there. Somebody is running around or moving around in there. Looks like several people.
Okay, sweet. That's probably our team. Let's go check that out.
Okay. You move closer. Let's do assess a bad situation. to see if you spot it. Spot what's happening here. So that one is using steel.
Okay. Got it.
And let me recall the cards. Do you guys have the power to recall and shuffle, or only I do? Does it show those options when you have highlight when your mouse is on the deck? Does it show you recall and shuffle? Probably doesn't, does it?
No, I think it's only you.
Okay. All right, it is ready to go. Go ahead and draw. What did I say? Steel. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sweet. Miss. And an edge. Okay. And a miss. Ooh,
Okay. Okay. On assess a bad situation, you get to ask one of the questions from the choices. And when you act on the answer, you draw a +1. What here is the biggest threat to me, or the enclave? What here is most useful to me, my allies or the enclave? What's my best escape route? Who here is most vulnerable to me, my allies or the dead?
Okay. I guess what here is the biggest threat to me is the question on my mind.
Sure. So you get a little bit closer, maybe 30 feet away, moving through the brush, and maybe there's like a low, like the cobblestone path is kind of lined with low bushes. You kind of move along, and you're ninja style, and you're checking it, and you see about a dozen zombies, and you unfortunately become very familiar with them lately. About a dozen of these zombies kind of meandering around in this atrium area, and you see one that's kind of like, there's a door that leads from the atrium out to where you're at into the grove. It's maybe like a glass double door, and it's kind of like pushing on it. It doesn't seem to understand that it can just kind of push it and open it that way, but it's just sort of like bang, bang, bang. It doesn't seem to see you. They don't seem to see you. They're just kind of like dumbly moving around. But that's definitely a threat to you.
Okay. Whew. So I guess that is not our team.
No, you hope not.
So I think the answer is we stay out of sight. We move along this low hedge as far as it'll carry us. The closest entrance I can think of is the loading dock by maintenance. One of the patients took me out there and tried to teach me how to smoke cigarettes.
Sure.
So I think that may be a way in.
Okay. And I think you're going to make that just fine. I don't see there being any dangers out there at this point. So you're going to make your way around to the maintenance area, to the storage, the loading dock that leads into storage, that then leads into maintenance. And you get there, and there's a solid, solid door. And then there's sort of a loading dock where they slide it up, and a truck drives up, and you load stuff, on into the storage area. And there is a truck here. And when you came here to smoke cigarettes before, to learn about smoking cigarettes, there wasn't a truck here before. There is a good sized like moving truck, but it says I don't know what's Pulaski's dry goods on the side of it. It's back, slid down and shut, with a sort of like a moving truck where you pull it down and you slide that thing over to kind of secure it. So it's closed, but it's sitting there. by the probably backed right up to the loading dock. What do you do?
I guess we'll assess this truck. Is there an obvious like lock on that back mechanism?
No, it
Sometimes
doesn't
there's
seem
a-
to be.
Okay.
Seems to be you just have to unlatch it and slide it up, and it should open up.
Okay. I think Austin kind of fiddles around with it. I don't think he's ever tried to. There's like tries to lift the lever, and then okay, it's okay. And I think Shun probably knows a little more about it.
Yeah, Shun, he would unload the
Yeah.
stuff when it came for the sports supply company. I think we established. Didn't you work there? Like, didn't you? I think didn't you work there too, or part time or something?
Yeah.
That's how you knew each other. You both
Yeah.
worked at the sports goods place in the mall, and so you certainly, this is, you understand how this works, and you open it up, and you see it's about half full of boxes, and several of the boxes say property of Hans Schumer. And a lot of others don't say anything. But like I said, there's probably a good 30, 40 boxes in here.
Holy shit. All right. We found Hans's secret stash. Let's see what we got. He probably has some sweet drugs. He probably has like, I don't know, recreational drugs and practical, and also food. Probably he's got like some food and maybe hard liquor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's pop one of these things open.
Okay. You look inside and you see, it will say, yeah, you open it up and you find packets of medical stuff. You don't know a lot of it, but you're like, yep, antibiotics. I know what that is. You're like, oh, here's some codeine and, aspirin, and here's some, bandages, and it's full of medical equipment and medical supplies and medication. And then Shun says, hey, look at this one. And it's got, like boxes of flour and spaghetti, bottled water. It's got all kinds of food and water supplies in that box. And this is just a couple of the boxes. Let's go back to the people in the waiting room. You guys have, the door has shut, and the power came on and the door shut. Sam, you're feeling really faint and tired. You're all feeling pretty stressed, but you're feeling particularly faint and tired. You could really use a sit down.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to tell the group that I got bit.
Stanley, you're not there yet, but Val is.
I think Val kind of takes a moment, and no one immediately speaks up and says anything, and then he just turns and looks at Sam and says, you know what this means, right? Either we're going to take care of it, or you can take care of it yourself.
And Ahmad, Sam, your friend is
a
Ahmad, right? Sorry. Ahmad says, what are you talking about? It's not hard. It's hardly anything. He'll be fine. I've seen worse than that. People don't change. They don't always change. Right, Sam?
I'm feeling it. I'm probably gonna go.
He goes, oh man, how am I going to survive, man? I'm a goddamn projectionist. I don't know anything about survival. I can't fight. I don't know how to like build shit. I'm fucked. I need you, Sam. Come on, man. Pull out of it.
Well, I knew a fair bit about fighting, and that didn't do anything for me, so you're no worse off.
Man, cold. You're cold to the end, man. I don't know. He goes and he sits down and he's just kind of like holding his head. Stanley, what would you have done after you got the power on? You're muted.
So once the power's on, I don't see anything else worrisome in the maintenance room. But something was going on back in the lab. So time to check on that.
Okay.
Quietly go back to the door, open it up.
Okay.
See if I could hear what I was hearing before.
Yeah, let's call that assessing a bad situation. So that's a steal draw. Let me get the cards back. Let me take you guys back. Again, if you need me to go back either to the map or to the main play surface, just yell out. It'll be a bit of a shuffling back and forth. One thing I might do between sessions is I could create a handout that has the map on it, and then you can just pull the handout when you need to look at the map. But for now, we'll just kind of jump back and forth. But anyways, what is your steal, Stanley?
Steal 2.
Okay, so you're going to draw 2 survivor cards.
Right. Scroll down to the edge. We got 1 edge and 1 miss.
Okay, so on an edge, you get to draw 1, or you get to ask one of those questions. Under basic moves, assess a bad situation.
Right. Biggest threat to me with the Enclave. Yeah, I think that's the most immediate question.
Okay. All right. So you move back to that door that was ajar right across from where you came in from the waiting room. And like I said, this is like a solid steel, well, not solid steel, but it's a steel door that you kind of can push it open and listen. And the lab area is how would it be organized? It probably has, so where you come in, it's probably a fairly open area, and there are a lot of tables that have mostly like tables you would stand next to and do like lab work. There's all kinds of lab equipment. I couldn't tell you what all it is. Those things that spin the blood around. I don't forget what the centrifuge is. That what those are called? And there's lots of like refrigerators and lots of computers. All kinds of like there's a cabinet full of like different chemicals that are all used in different tests. And then there are probably farther into the lab area away from the door, you can see that there's a series of smaller rooms that are open, or at least they have doors, but they're open, we'll say. And you see that there's like x-ray equipment, and there's a particularly large room that has a really big machine. You guys know what an MRI machine looks like? It's the one where you lay down and they push you in, I'm not sure how it works. I've never been in one, thankfully, but you go into it and it makes a lot of noise, and it images your body. And this one's really big, and we don't know about your character, about maybe in your past you would know about it, but we don't know yet. But from what we know of Stanley so far, you wouldn't know what this thing is, but it's a particularly fancy looking piece of machinery. And in sort of the room where the X-ray machine is, you hear it's probably dark in there, although some of the lights have come on since you turned the power on, but it's dark in this X-ray room. But you see there's a few flashing lights, and there's like a table, and Dr. Jones, Dr. Catherine Jones, is sitting at this table, and she's got headphones on, and she's talking into a mic, and you see that she has sort of like a big, like, portable radio, and she's like fiddling with the knobs, and she's saying, what would she say? She's saying, "This is Dr. Jones at Sacred Heart. I'm trying to reach Dr. Eberhardt. Dr. Eberhardt at CDC Center in Lombard. Come in." And she lets go of the mic, and the static comes. You can hear it. I guess she probably hears it through her headphones too, but you hear just static, just crackly static coming through. And she says, I have the supplies. I'm ready. I'm ready to come. I need, we have an emergency here. I'm leaving here. I'll be there as soon as I can. What do you do, Stanley?
Stanley will ask, "We're coming with you, right?"
And she like startles. She like, like all but falls over, and she tears the headphones off, and she stands up, and she goes, "Stanley,
you wouldn't leave without telling us."
Look, that's what I was trying to contact him for. He doesn't want me to bring anybody, but I want to bring you guys. I stayed to help you all. I stayed here to save all of those poor people, to try to provide you guys care." And you hear from one of these other cubicles, you hear sort of a moaning now. So, kind of maybe off to your left, there's another dark cubicle, and you hear a moaning sound now. And she notices that you notice that sound. And you both have a look at each other, pause and look each other in the eyes.
Is that anyone we know?
She goes, "It's complicated. I don't think we really have time for me to explain it. There really isn't a short version that you'll understand. I know it probably would look or sound bad to you. But look, Stanley, you and I, let's go. I got a truck ready. I've got the supplies. I know a safe place we can go. What do you think?" I guess Sandy's there with you, right? You and me and Sandy. I bet I can get you guys in.
We're going to need No, I have to go and check on the others. He leaves.
You just leave?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to think. Do you feel like you put enough pressure on her to try to convince her to not do what she's thinking of doing? I'm wondering if we should let you flip cards or whether we just let that ride. What do you think, Matt?
I think let it ride. He wasn't really trying to talk her out of it.
Yeah,
So
I think so. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so Stanley, you go back into the waiting area, and again, there's Hans wringing his hands, and he said, "Was Dr. Jones in there? I haven't seen her." Some of these people, I don't know if they're hurt or they're just panic attacking or what, but they need a pill or something. Is she in there?
yeah, I'll be back in a minute.
He goes, "What, am I invisible?" He goes, "All right, well, fine, whatever." So everybody's there. Like he said, there's probably, so there were 18 patients. 4 or 5 were killed by zombies. A couple more were killed on the exodus to the ER. And there are a few, supposedly there are a few back in the ER clinical area. Although Stanley, I'll tell you, you didn't see anybody back there other than her. You did hear a moan.
Right.
So there's probably, what's the math on that? We have probably maybe 8 to 10 patients that are kind of huddled around in the ER. And then there's all of you guys, minus Austin.
And so Stanley's back now at this point. Is that right?
Yeah, Stanley comes back with Sandy.
Yeah, I think when Stanley comes back, Val goes over to him, pulls him aside, and says, "Hey, you remember that thing we talked about? That plan we had for getting some more firepower?"
Yeah.
Well, we both kind of put it off because it basically seemed like a suicide mission. Well, I think we just found our point person, and I point over at Sam, and I say, "He's been bit. Maybe we can get him to do something useful with the last few hours of his life and get us out to that police station."
How does he feel about that plan?
Well, I haven't told him yet, but I mean, if you only had a few hours left to live, wouldn't you want to do something useful with it?
Well, that depends on who you ask. I think I'd probably want to make myself comfortable first, but
Sam's probably sitting there with his eyes closed, resting in one of the, plush couches they have in the waiting room.
Listen, if we have to, we pump him full of some meds, get him through this. I think I can talk him into this.
well, you go ahead. I'm going to check on someone. So
Okay. I'll let you know.
Right.
And then Val will head over to Sam. And he sits down beside him on like the couch or wherever he's resting his eyes. And he says, "It's real shit that you're gonna die. Don't know what I'd do in that circumstance."
Generally is. I'd just like to take out some zombies before I go.
Well, I think I've got the perfect opportunity for you. Me and Stanley have been cooking up this plan to get out to the police station and get some more guns. But we figure there's half the town's population between here and there. Seeing as how you're not long for the world anyways, we figure you'd be a good addition to the team.
Sounds good.
Excellent. All right. Let me figure out where Stanley wandered off to. We'll see if we can get this team together.
Yeah, let's see what Stanley's doing.
Stanley's going to check on the loading dock.
Okay, so you're gonna let me go back to the map. I don't recall if there's an alternate way of getting there.
I think it was through the
Back the way you came.
storage. I mean, through the maintenance.
Yeah. Yes. So, you start heading that way. Are you taking anyone with you or just yourself?
I think Sandy's with me. Make sure the doctor's still not still in the in the lab.
And
But,
Sandy says, as you're working your way through there, are you walking normally? Or are you going quietly? Or what's
I don't
your?
think we're. I think this is a safe area, so we're moving regular pace.
Okay. So Sandy's like, look, I can understand that it's a lot, but you think maybe we should tell the others about, the doctor?
I'm going to give her one more chance first.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And, I like to always be on the up and up. I think we got to keep everything out in the open. Start keeping secrets from people. That's how we're going to end up, like those things. So, that's my advice.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So you make your way there. Austin, you and Sean are in the back of the truck checking it out. Did you pocket any of the goodies that you found?
I think you mentioned codeine.
Yeah.
So that's definitely in a pocket. Yes.
Okay. So you got some good pills, some Percocet, some good stuff. And would you just painkillers? You want sedatives? You want adrenaline?
I don't know that Austin is actually that knowledgeable. I think
Okay.
he's just very curious.
He's just a thrill. Okay. So he's not necessarily a experienced drug, person, but
Right.
he's willing to experiment. Okay. So and Sean is like doing the same, but like with like Twinkies
Nice.
and Coke, and he's taking all the sugary sweets. He's got a bag of chips. He's throwing them into like his little bag that he carries. And, I said, you guys are kind of up, you're in the truck and the truck is backed up to the loading dock. So it's kind of elevated up. And then off to the side is this door that leads into the storage area, if you just want to walk in rather than, through this loading dock area. So you can't really see it, but you hear that door swing open. What would you do?
I think hide. See if there's enough of these boxes in sort of a scattered pattern that we could hide
Sure.
in between or behind any of them.
Okay.
I'm not sure how well this truck is packed.
Yeah.
But
You do so, and you hear someone. Actually, let's do an assess a bad situation, and we'll see how that flies. So let me make sure I recalled everything. So again, that is steel. So go ahead and draw your steel. You did succeed on a previous one. What was that about? That was about looking at where the zombies were.
yes.
I'm trying to decide if because when you succeed, you can carry that. It's a +1 forward.
Oh,
But
right.
I don't think that applies here. This is a totally new situation. That would help you with those zombies, but not with
Right.
this. So we'll just straight up 3 cards for you.
Sounds good. All right. We have got an edge. We've got a miss. And an opportunity.
Okay. So you can do that edge and get 1 of those questions, or you can make it a triumph and get 2.
Let me really quick take a look at
Sure.
the list, the basic moves here. Situation. There's some real good stuff here. So I think I'm gonna mark stress and take that opportunity and turn that into a triumph.
Okay.
And the 2 questions I have. Yeah, I think in the fiction, what here is the biggest threat to me is the main question here, and then it's a big toss up between the second 2. I think Austin might. Yeah, I think what here is most useful to me, as far as fighting back against this new threat, getting out. Well, that's escape route. Anyway, the first 2 questions.
Okay. What here is the biggest threat, and what here is most useful? So you hear You hear someone walking, clip clop of sort of women's shoes, and they they're muttering aloud to themselves, sort of nervously, and you recognize Dr. Jones's voice, and she's saying, I've got to do it. I there's no choice. I got to do it. I got to get out of here. I'm sorry to these. I'm sorry. And she's almost, you can tell she's really distraught. You know, she's really upset about this. And her final, I got to do this, so sounds determined. And you hear her open the door of the cab, and you hear the truck start up. And the door slams, and it starts to pull away. And it goes about 5 or 10 feet. And, you know, she hits the brakes, and the truck, the boxes move a little bit, and you guys kind of like, you know, brace yourself. It stops, and you hear the door open again, and you hear her jump down from the cab and start to walk towards the back. What do you do? And did I answer your questions? With these kinds of questions, I always have trouble like giving the information. You know, I know you burned a stress to get that triumph. Do you feel like you got enough out of what you're looking for? Or do you feel like there's more? I'm perfectly open to whatever you feel is right.
I think the biggest threat is definitely covered. Can you give me a little more of a hint as far as what's the most useful?
Okay. It's grasping a little bit, but I think she would probably, maybe she comes out and she gets down from the cab, and again, still talking to herself, she says, what kind of idiot would Eberhard think I was if I drove up with a truck empty because the back was open? He's not going to let me in unless I have something to give him. That facility is locked down. He's not going to let me in unless I bring him this stuff. Come on, Kat. Come on. What does she think? What does she call herself? Katie, Kathy, Catherine, Kat. She calls herself Kat. She says, "Come on, Kat. Get your head into it, or stop thinking about all that, and let's go." How about that? So, what are you going to do?
I think Austin is going to stand up and move towards the door and say, "No time for love, Dr. Jones." He says that every time he interacts with her. It's never funny. Look, we found Schumer's secret stash of stuff. He's been stealing from the hospital this whole time. And I don't know what you're doing out here, but we've got to find Administrator Schumer. And what we're going to do, because he's been stealing stuff, is have you ever seen one of those mob movies where they tie someone to a chair and then they take a hammer and smash one toe at a time? Well, Shun and I are going to do that, except we don't have a hammer. We've got a baseball bat. So if you whoever steals from this enclave is going to definitely have that happen to them. And right now it's Schumer, right? Is that correct, Dr. Jones?
She says, she folds her hands, and she looks at you with a look of, she can't believe it. She can't believe that you and your buddy are here. She doesn't seem threatened by you, or she doesn't respond to what you say. She says, "Austin, I gave Stanley this choice. I'm going to give you the same option. I'm leaving here. I'm taking this stuff, and I'm not coming back. I'm going somewhere that's going to be safe. I think I can get you and Shun in there if you want to go. But we're going to have to leave right now. What do you want to do?
I mean, yeah, like a couple months ago, I was just a 16-year-old kid. And now I'm like the guy who runs around and finds stuff and like evades the dead people. I don't know if I can go back to being around regular people, Dr. Jones. So I would really appreciate it if you stayed, because you're like really important to us. But if you gotta go, I guess you can keep all your toes. Shun, you can, man, like, I don't know why you've been following a 16-year-old kid around. It's really wild. But if you want to go, I can totally understand that.
No way, man. You're the boss.
That's
You always got the mad moves. You've kept me alive through 19,000 different adventures. I'm with you to the end, bro.
I am literally a child, but all right. I will definitely take that.
And I think we accept Shun's a little bit younger than you even. So like,
okay.
You're young, but to him, you're like, you're like, you're the adult and you've got mad skills. So he's with you, all the way, or so he says. She says, I stayed here to help you, to help all those people that were hurt. And did you guys ever wonder why someone of my credentials was in this little hospital in the middle of the cornfields? This isn't my place. I did a lot. I did what I could, but I've got to go.
Any chance Stanley has caught up by this point?
Sure. Well, no, let's
Okay, go ahead.
Let's have this moment, reach a point. So she goes, Austin, why should I stay? There's nothing here. You guys are just biding time.
Did you see how that glass atrium got full of dead people like real quick, like yesterday? And like, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes ago, that was part of our territory. That was like, no dead people in here. And now dead people. I don't know what the hell happened. I bet there's more dead people in the rest of our territory. So I don't know where you're going, but like, if it's like this, they'll probably be full of dead people. If you haven't spoken with them in the last 20 minutes, I wouldn't gamble on that.
Okay. That sounds like you are asking her for help, I think. Either that or opening up to someone. What do you think? I think if you lean into more of your own past and feelings, you can get that open up to someone, or otherwise you're asking her to help you out of the good of her heart.
Well, all right, then let's have a real dramatic moment. Like when Shun and I were trying to escape from the mall, we didn't realize we were trying to escape at first. It was our manager, Mr. Dingleberry. His name was Dunkelberg. We've got a lot of German population around here. No one could pronounce it, so we called him Mr. Dingleberry behind his back. Anyway, he was the one who told us to get out, who knew what was going on, and he stayed behind and sacrificed himself. And we can do that for you. I don't know if that would be doing that for you, though. I don't know if us staying behind would be helping you. But back to my point, the mall was pretty peaceful until it wasn't. And this place is the same, and wherever you're going, probably going to be the same.
Okay. That sounds real good. So we are going to do the open up to someone move. When you open up to someone about your feelings or past, draw soul.
Ooh, awesome.
How's your soul?
I think it's 2. Let me.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Let me make sure we got the cards recalled.
2.
All right, Austin. Let's see 2 cards.
All right.
You did get sorry. You did have that assess the bad situation and you got a hit. So we'll give you a +1 on this. You learned enough about where she's coming from and what she's struggling with that I think we can give you that +1 card. So go ahead and you're going to get 3 cards on this.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I'm glad we got that 3rd card. Too bad.
Oh.
Also a miss.
Okay. She reaches past you. Like, you guys are kind of up in the docks, or did you jump down? Like, or do you still kind of standing in the truck talking to her, with her looking at you?
Let's say we jump down to be sort of on the same level.
Okay. She says, Austin, you're a good kid. I really wish I wish this wasn't the world we're in now. But I gotta go. I'll tell you what, she hands you this ID that she has, and it says, like, it has like, it's like an FBI kind of thing where you flip it and show it, and it says, Dr. Catherine Jones, CDC, chief scientist, neurological researcher. It has, home base, CDC quarantine facility. What did I say was the name of that place? Laramie or something like that. It is called...
I think it was like Lombard.
Lombard. It's actually a city in Illinois, but we can have it be anywhere in the Midwest. But I did a little research. There is actually a CDC facility in Lombard, Illinois.
Huh.
And I don't know if it's quite going to be what I'm imagining, but it will, for our purposes, it is what it is. But anyway, she hands this to you and she says, if you make your way to Lombard, Illinois, it's on the outskirts of the city, down by the river. I'll do my best to get you in, but I got to go now. And she slides the door shut. She jumps in and she drives off. And Stanley comes out, at that moment, out of the door or out the open. I guess it wouldn't be open. It's closed. The loading dock's closed, but you come out that door and you see the truck driving off, and Austin and Shun are there. And we'll take a break. Okay. So let's take 10 minutes. My clock says 9:39. We'll come back at about 9:50. Sound good?
Sure.
Okay. See you guys then. All right. Looks like we're all here. I forgot to mention that I have added or put in some information on handouts. So there's one called People and Places. And I've tried to scribble down as much of the little bits and pieces of stuff we've learned about the different characters and places in our game. So if during the game, you want to check it out or add anything, feel free to edit and add things. Like I said, these documents are living documents. We can all work together to kind of, fill in as much of the gaps in this world as we can as we go through. But, if you need information, maybe you'll find it there. Check your cards that you have on the table and kind of think back. Have we done any of the things that your card talks about that relieve your stress? If you think so, you can relieve a point of stress. So let's take a quick look. Matt, Survivor.
I had already marked one off.
Okay. When you escape from a situation, yep, that definitely counts. And going around, then we have Val. Yours is when you take someone else's stuff. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you've done that, have you?
I have not yet.
Okay. All right. We'll keep our radar out for that. Sneaking for Austin. I think you definitely did some good sneaking, so you can relieve a point of stress. And Sam, yours is when you break something pristine, valuable, or impressive. You did break the handle of the door. I'm leaning towards saying no, though. I don't know if it's really something pristine, valuable, or impressive. You don't have any stress anyways, do you? So despite the fact you're got a death warrant, you are cool. All right. So I'm leaning towards jumping forward a few minutes, hour, to a scene inside the ER waiting room with the four of you guys all together. But if Matt and Dan, you guys wanted a little scene, when the truck's driving away, we can do that too. What do you guys think? Dan, Matt? Jump forward a little bit, or you want a scene right there?
Well, I was just going to say I was pretty sure she wasn't going to hear back from that guy.
I tried to tell her. I don't know what you're talking about, but that's what I tried to tell her.
Well, this hospital is spent anyway, so I think our only option now is the police station.
Then let's zoom there. We'll cut there, and then we're back in the ER waiting room. You guys are around a table. The TV's on the wall, the big TV that people would sit and watch, with CNN, or if depending on the municipality, maybe Fox News is on the screen. And
not if it's not broadcasting.
No, it's not.
Are they still broadcasting?
It would have been back in the day, but now it's just it's fuzz.
They got DVDs.
Yeah, that's true.
We're watching Dumbo for like the 80th time.
Right.
I'm going to try and steer the conversation in front of the people who are most able-bodied rather than make everyone panic.
Let's say it's the 8 of you guys. And it's a real big area. It's really long. So there's this space you're in. It's sort of like, it's open. I mean, it's not like you're in a room or anything. It's all one huge open space, but it's a long space. There's probably room in here for 50 people, on a busy ER day to kind of sit and wait for their loved ones, getting care. And, the other patients are all kind of huddled, 20, 30 feet away from you. And you see Hans is there sort of talking to them about this or that. And you guys are off, like I said, around this big TV, and there's a table in front of you, and Shun has thrown out all the Twinkies and the chips, and you guys are, kind of digging in as much as you feel. And, kind of on the other side of you, behind you, the other direction, you occasionally hear a bang bang on that door, but it sounds like the zombies have kind of given up on even trying to get through. At least 15, 20, 30 minutes have passed. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and jump in there, guys. What are you talking about?
How's Sam holding up?
What do you
Well-
mean? How's Sam holding up?
He looks
What-
like death.
What happened to Sam?
He got bit a while back.
But he says he's willing to help us do the needful. So
Yeah, I don't think we've clued you in quite yet, Austin. We've been cooking up this plan here for a minute to get out to the police station. If we've got any chance of making this a permanent home or staying here longer, we've got to be able to defend ourselves better. We can't keep falling back and building up doors. So we've got to get some weapons.
I don't think there's any reason to hold on to the hospital. We've lost all our medicine, all of our food. It was never very secure to start with. We should figure out a way of getting everyone who can be moved to a safer location.
Well, hold on now. We don't even know what the situation is at the police station. How are we going to know if it's any better than what we've got here? At
Well,
least
that's
here
got to
we've...
be our first step.
All right, so you're not thinking that we take everyone on the first go.
No, that's why we're doing this over here in the corner. We got to do a scouting mission first.
That's fair. Should we be including Big Shot Hans in this discussion?
I think Hans is probably best keeping the others calm. So that'll be easier the less he knows.
Oh, I want you to know we didn't lose all of the medicine. And Austin reaches into his pocket and he's like, Sam, I'm 16 years old and I was at the mall. It's a long story. Anyway, I'm a teenager. And also my store manager sacrificed himself to save me and Shun. And so I'm sacrificing my access to this codeine for you to have some codeine. Okay.
Save it for someone who will live out the day.
Okay.
So you just tell us what you need at any point there.
Dan, Austin, do you want to call that opening up? Do you want to make that to try to relieve some stress? Sharing
Sure.
with Sam your background?
Sure. And is it cool if I flip that background card?
Sure.
Sweet.
There you go. Read that for us, would you?
Let's see here. Yes. Austin is a teenager. To reveal this card, tell another survivor about someone who has died to keep you alive. When you avert, let me see here. While it's revealed, when you avert disaster and suffer consequences, mark stress to force someone else to suffer in your stead.
Mm,
The
okay.
quote is, "You weren't ready for any of this. You weren't prepared. You had your whole life ahead of you, and now it's gone. It's not fair. It's just not fair."
Okay.
Sounds like
that's-
Sam will be our trauma sponge for the next
Mhm.
segment.
So you're going to draw soul on opening up to someone.
Right.
So that was 2 for you. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are the cards drawn back? Let me make sure. Recall. Oops, sorry. We'll start fresh. All right, go ahead. Draw 2.
Cool. Let me see. Oh, well, first off is a triumph.
Beautiful.
And second off is an opportunity. Great.
Okay. So you get a triumph. You guys both get to clear a stress. Once again, Sam is cool as can be. He doesn't need that. You get to choose one from a list on opening up to someone. You can look at any one of their face down identity cards. You can ask them any question they must answer honestly. If it's an NPC, that doesn't apply here. So basically one of those two choices. Look at one of their cards or ask them a question they must answer honestly.
Let's look at one of your cards. Do I
Okay.
get to pick
So down in his hand, you see his cards in front of Kyle. Click on the one you'd like to see. It'll say to Kyle that someone's trying to steal your card. You say, go ahead, let them. Drag it over to your hand. Look at it.
steal card? Okay.
Okay. So Dan, look at the card. Check it out. When you're ready, tell us, and Kyle, you'll click on it and take it back. And you took his past card.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Yep, I got it.
Okay. So we did that in the middle of your conversation, though. I'm sorry. You were offering the drugs to Sam, and he said, save it for somebody that really needs it. Pick it up from there, guys.
All right. So what do we need to do before we head out?
Do we know if anyone has access to a vehicle? Do we've got the ambulance keys somewhere stashed away, or?
Well, there's an ambulance that drove into the side of the tunnel.
That one's probably less useful.
So Ahmad raises his hand and he says, I've got a car. I got an F. I don't know my trucks, but an F-250 super bed or whatever, like super cab, like it has the seats in the front and it has like little rinky dink seats behind it. He's like, yeah, I can get 6 people in there. No problem. The rest of you guys can jump in the back. And I think, I'm locking up. What's your guys, Stanley, Matt? What's your friend?
Sandy?
Sandy. So Sandy says, I got a tractor. 2 guys maybe can ride on a tractor. It can only go about 15 miles an hour, but
We might need that after we've verified that we have a safe path.
And if I remember, if we're talking about the same police station, we're talking about, the county police station just out of town. It's about a quarter mile from here, right? It's not too far. I mean, we can get there just in a few minutes, even in the tractor. So yeah, we can get there. They're just out. Bad news is that, it's in the parking lot, and that's where, everything went crazy. And Ahmad says, yeah, I want, Sam can come with me, and, anybody else, feels, like, that can fight, and keep people safe, they can ride with me for sure.
I'll ride in the back.
In the bed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can ride in the bed too.
No offense, Sam, but I don't want to be trapped in a small area with you for too long.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's starting to look pale. He's sweating a little bit. Still looks pretty hardy though. He's not
Maybe
about
give him
to fall
something
down.
for his fever.
Yeah. There's probably some aspirin, I guess I said. Something stronger.
Honestly, Austin, if you've got yes, you pull out a bunch of downers, if you got any uppers, that's what I'd try and give Sam right now.
Sure. Okay. I'm just gonna take out all the pills I took. What are these? I know codeine. That's the only one I really know.
We're looking
Anybody?
for something that ends in amphetamine.
Right. Yeah, sure. You find something like that. You find a syringe of something that fits the bill.
And
I guess you were. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just say so. Austin pulls that out, and Sam's been a little hesitant to accept anything so far. So I think Val gets kind of aggressive with him now. He grabs it and he shoves it towards Sam. And he says, "You're going to take this because our lives depend on you keeping a clear head right now."
Yeah, sure, I'll take it.
Okay.
All right.
It's got a big, good needle. No one is exposed that they have a medical background, so it's a bit of a guesstimate as to what to do. But you decide to jam it into your.
So
what part of your body do you jam it into?
actually,
Sam?
if I may, I think
Sure.
I'll reveal.
There we go.
Where's past the past? Do I drag this out right?
Drag it out and right click. You should be able to flip it over.
So Val takes it and then
Ah.
very quickly and expertly administers it to Sam, and you can see like he when he gets questioning looks, he tells you like, yeah, I used to do this shit all the time.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and read that for our viewers.
Right. So Val's past is EMT. Oh, I guess I didn't quite follow the reveal.
It's all right. It's close enough.
Yeah, so to reveal this card, ignore any other dangerous threats or concerns to save a life in dire need of aid. While revealed, draw +1 when you perform emergency first aid or medical procedures. Ever since Z-Day, it's been like you're on call nonstop. And you may have done your best, but you've watched far more people die than you've saved.
Yeah, and I suspect you had laid out right in the beginning that you seemed comfortable in the hospital, so that was good foreshadowing of that one. Okay, so you know exactly what to do. You jam it into what part of the body receives this amphetamine, would you say?
This is it's like what you give overdose cases, and it's actually a kind of a gruesome jab to the chest.
Okay, Pulp Fiction style.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, that's actually really interesting. For reasons. I'm going to have you make Sam. I want you to make a avert disaster draw for us. Okay. Let me pull the cards back. Make sure. Yeah. So what's your survival, Sam?
It's 2.
Okay. So draw 2 cards for me, will you?
I got a triumph.
Okay. Great. You feel a lot better. You wake up. You the fever goes away. Your mind clears. The little bit of like irritation that you were feeling goes away. You feel calm. You feel good. Okay. So it sounds like we're developing a plan here that you guys are going to jump in the truck, right? And you're going to make your way to the police station. We're working up to a draw called Make a Plan. How do you, let's look at some of the obstacles along the way and kind of tell me, I mean, the cards are going to tell us more about what happens, but tell me like at least what the plan is to get past some of the obstacles. Okay. So we know transportation, you're going to take this truck. How are you going to get to the truck? Last, there were many zombies that have burst from the hospital and that were moving and moved into the parking lot, attacked those people, followed the ambulance back into the hospital, but there's quite likely more out there. How do you plan to get past them if you do run into them?
My recommendation is we send one or two people to go get the truck, and then drive it over to the hospital entrance, and we'll get on at that point.
Okay, so you're going to send a sub team over to sort of sneaky get the truck and come pick you guys up.
That's my recommendation.
Would setting off a noisemaker at the other side of the hospital help with that?
Could, sure.
At the parking lot.
Yep, I think that's a good option too.
What would you make a noisemaker out of?
There's an old fryer in the kitchen
Mm-hmm.
that we could throw some. I don't know if we've got any explosives. I don't know. We could just fill it with pots and pans and then go push it out into a parking lot from a open door or window somewhere.
Take an electric fan with a leather belt.
An electric fan with a leather belt just to make a lot of noise?
Yeah, just
yeah.
make big slapping noises on the windows over on the south side.
Okay. Sort of draw off the zombies so then someone can sneak in. Who's going to be the sneak team? Everyone looks at Austin.
Yeah.
Austin and Sean and Ahmad sort of like takes
Wait.
his key.
Does Austin even have a driver's license?
Oh, I
Do you
just
know how to drive
got
a
my
giant-
learner's permit.
Sean says, "Shut up, man. He drives like $100. You should see him. He's a hot rod, man." So Ahmad like takes his keys out and he's like, he looks at him and he looks at you guys and he kind of like reaches like he wants to give the keys to somebody else. He's like, yeah, sure. Here's my keys. It's a white truck. It's got like a red racing stripe on the side. Don't dent it if you can help it.
Okay, sweet. And just really quick, gas is on the right.
Oh my god.
Oh
This isn't
man.
a clutch, is it? This is
Oh, boy.
automatic?
Sean says, "Oh, he's just kidding you. He knows."
Okay. I can
He
figure it out.
he crashed my mom's car that one time. It's no big deal. She didn't care. She's fine. Well, she's dead, but so he gives the keys to you. All right. So Austin and Sean are going to sneak over and get this truck, drive to the front of the hospital, kind of maybe like the ambulance only area on our map. You guys will hustle in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think gathering up the materials for sort of a distraction. You can safely kind of move through the maintenance area. Somebody said something about the cafeteria, or was it the cafeteria or the kitchens? Yeah, I guess you could get in there. It's possible zombie. If we look at our map, actually the storage area too. I mean, the danger is, and I designed the map on this on purpose, is that it's possible zombies could have gotten back into these sort of areas the way that the doors are organized. They may have not, again, it's not terribly secure, a hospital, and they can't get into where you're at, you're pretty sure, but you move out of this ER area and it could get dicey pretty quick. So, so far tell me again, what's the consensus on the distraction tool? You mentioned, that you do have a supply of gasoline. You might be able to kind of MacGyver some sort of explosive thing if you want, or you could just have like a fan and a belt, I think you said. I'm not sure. Like, how does that make noise? Just like flapping the belt in the wind or something, or?
Slapping against a wall.
Okay. Yeah. That'd be less successful, but it's possible, sure. Any other ideas of like?
Throw a pan in there to beat the buckle against, and
Okay.
that
I think what we'll do then, I guess what I'm looking for there is like where you need to go. So I think, I think the maintenance area is probably as far as you need to go. So what we're going to do, there actually is a forage rule in this game. We're going to see what you're able to kind of like forage up back in the mechanical area. All right, so this is is it a basic move? It's actually on your actual card. It says forward, or it's actually on the enclave. In the upper left of the main playing area, there's foraging for supplies. That's what we're going to do. Matt, I think you're kind of taking the lead on this forage. So this is just pure luck. So what you're going to do is when you forage for supplies, you're going to draw 3 cards from the survivor deck, and each hit will give you a point of gear. If you get a triumph, it's 2 points of gear. Then if you don't get what you're looking for, you can push it and draw 3 more cards, but then you have a chance, you have to draw from the bite deck. Okay?
Got it.
So you go back there, you start foraging around for some of this stuff, draw 3 cards.
Got edge, a miss, and an edge.
Okay. So you got 2 edges, which adds up to 2 points. 2 points of gear is something useful but small or limited. The examples they give us are flashlight, keys, a handgun, or clothes. I think that's sufficient for what you were looking to create. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah. Do you want to push your luck to get anything extra, or do you want to let that?
Nah, we'll
let
save that for the actual police
Okay.
station.
That seems like a good idea. Let me recall those, shuffle our deck. So he puts together this fan belt pan thing, and he's like, I'm ready. And where's the sound going to be coming from to try to draw away some of these zombies? Matt.
Good question.
Let me go back. Let me go back to the map.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got a whole row of offices just outside of our safe zone.
Yes.
If we could get to it, maybe through the kitchens and the cafeteria, set up in like that corner office just between the atrium and the parking lot. Close the door and let the zombies try to bang at that barrier for a good 5-10 minutes while we get what needs needing.
Okay. Sorry, I spaced out for a minute. Can you like do the left mouse thing on the about where you want to put it? Down in there?
Down here. But
okay.
If it's too dangerous, once we actually see what the cafeteria looks like, then
okay.
We can.
So you're gonna kind of like sneak from the maintenance into the kitchens, peek out the cafeteria, and see if you can safely get over there to plant this thing.
Yeah, if you can actually bang against this wall, that would probably make the parking lot as safe as it's going to be. So.
And then you want all the zombies to go from there towards that where you're planting it. Right. And you're going to plant it on the outside of the building or the inside?
Well, not unless I can stick it out the window.
Oh, okay.
All right. If that's an option, then sure. But
okay.
I'm not sure how dumb we've observed these zombies actually being. So.
Okay. So I think we're going to break the plan up into 2 parts then. The first plan is getting to the truck. So that includes this fooling the zombies, okay? So let's look at, anybody else want to add anything to the plan before we go to the cards?
I would just like to establish, if possible, that we're going to bring a duffel bag. I think Val would have one for like some of his workout clothes and stuff he'd carry, though I don't know if he'd have it in that ER room. So if he doesn't have it there, then he would definitely, this is where he'd be seizing someone's stuff. He'd be taking someone's purse. He'd be taking purses and bags and things and just saying like, nope, we need this.
Okay. I'll come back to. Let me put a pin in that. Anybody else
Yep.
have anything to add to the plan? Okay. So what happens then is that Matt says, "I've got this thing, this noisemaker. I'm going to sneak over and plant this." Austin and Shun, once you hear this thing, you guys make your way to the truck, drive it over here. Meanwhile, Val is, you probably don't have anything. You didn't have a chance to stop in your room on, when everything went crazy. And you, some of these other people do have stuff. You're looking for like clothing or something in particular.
No,
from them.
any bags that we can use to
Oh,
carry firearms.
Oh, okay. So
Because
you just need like satchels or
yeah.
okay, I gotcha. Yeah. So you go over and you see that, Mrs. Johnson's got her, large flour sack and that she, got from the storeroom, and she's got her meager possessions in it. And she's sitting there, and Hans is standing. He's saying, look, we're going to be fine. These gentlemen know, they've got a plan. I heard them talking. They're going to go to the hospital. They're going to go to the police station. They're going to get some weapons. They're going to come back. We're going to clear these zombies out, and everything's going to be back to normal. Okay. So he's trying to calm them all down. So you come over, and what do? You see that nice big sack there and a couple other, bags that you probably could grab.
Yeah, and just real bluntly, we need this.
And Hans says, whoa, what are you doing? I mean, that's her stuff.
Hey, you like you said, you heard us talking. We're going to the police station. We're going to get some guns, whatever other supplies are there. We've got to get it back. I can't carry it all on my own. So what's it going to be?
Don't the police keep their guns in bags? I mean, why? Can't
Maybe
you get something there? I mean, this is Mrs. her. Did I say what her name was?
Mrs. Johnson.
This is Mrs. Johnson's stuff.
And look, she's going to have it. It's just going to be scattered on the table.
Are you being reasonable, or are you like trying to like throw some weight around?
I'm definitely throwing weight around because I know that while I'm doing this, they're off with the rest of the plan. Like, I'm imagining it's already in motion, and like there's no time to waste. So
Sure.
it is, no, you need to give this to me now.
So you're like grabbing the bag as you're like half-assed telling him your plan. Okay.
And I'm absolutely like, you'll get over it. It'll be fine. You'll thank us when we come back with guns.
All right. So in my my pursuit of having us get each of the basic moves done at least once, we're going to get in someone's face. So you're going to draw a savagery, which I think you're a pro at.
Yeah.
So go ahead and draw. Is it 4 cards?
Yes. Let's see. So, that is really big. There we go. Miss.
There you go.
Triumph, miss, and miss.
So Mrs. Johnson's like, it's okay, dear. I know it's okay. And Hans, you see fear in his eyes, and you're used to this look. You've been this way for a long time, I imagine, right? You take what you need. Might makes right, and you grab these bags, and you just turn and make your way out of there.
Yep.
Nobody gives you any shit. All right. Let's I think we're going to break this all down, this whole distraction and then sneaking to the truck situation. I think we're going to break this down to, well, first of all, let's do the make a plan. Let's see at what point, the camera, we're going to cut to the scene, and based on how this make a plan draw goes, we're going to pick up at some point in the action here. Okay, so in make a plan, we are going to use the stat of the person who proposed the plan. Who do you guys think was the main agent in coming up with this plan? Which of the 4 of you?
I think Stanley.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds right. Okay, Stanley. And you have a plan that's predicated on fooling them. You're using.
Well, how much dead people are in the parking lot?
We'll find out. Um, last you saw, there were probably several dozen zombies that came pouring out of the hospital when when you guys barricaded the atrium. They came out the windows instead as the people were trying to run to the ambulance, and you saw several dozen. So somewhere around in your part of the hospital, there's at least that many. Okay, so make a plan. I think this is the closest fit is probably the being careful, safe, stealthy, and smart. So that is using survival. Take +1 if the plan is supported by plenty of resources and people. I think the fact that you've got a situation where you also have Austin and Shun doing their part, I think will give you that +1, especially since they have those kind of sneaky skills.
And I think I also lose a stress for having thoroughly planned out escape routes.
That's
Or
right.
Can we switch back to the?
Part of being fearful?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay.
You do not, based on you're saying like how many zombies are there, you don't have current accurate information, so we won't give you that one. There is indeed significant opposition out there, so that's going to be a -1. There isn't dissent. I think you guys are all pretty much on the same page. So we end up with an even, we're going to have an even draw. You're going to draw using your survival, Stanley.
Okay. So let's see. That's 3 off of here. Opportunity, triumph,
Oh boy.
and edge. So,
All right, great.
thank you.
So what happens then is, and on Triumph, I don't think there's any complications whatsoever. Yeah, we pick up in the middle of the action. You're in decent shape. So Stanley, you come around kind of that back way through the storage, through the kitchens. You peek out into the cafeteria. It looks clear. You silently move across carrying your bundle with your apparatus. And you move out and you peer out into the hallway. Let me go back to the map.
All the way he was assuming that he would just do the engineering part of this, but
Oh, you didn't think you're going to do the sneaky part? Okay.
well, I wasn't looking forward to it anyway. But.
No. With 3 survival, you're not bad at this though. So, so you get there and you see across is sort of like the opening into the hallway that leads to the offices. And the offices, you guys were using them as like residential areas, like where you lived. So maybe your room is in there. We'll say it's your room that you cross the hall and you look to the left and you see a couple zombies sort of like kind of lazily pounding at the door leading to the ER, and a couple are milling about, dumbly moving. And you look to the right, or actually I guess straight ahead in front of you, and you see the doors that lead into the atrium have been busted out. The piece of wood that you were using to secure it is all shattered. And there's probably a good half dozen or so zombies you see in the fading light as it starts to be dusk. And they're milling about in the atrium, but they're not looking your way, and you time it perfectly. You move across, you move into that first little office, which was your space. And I'll give you a bonus. Is there anything in here you would grab or want to grab?
Nope. Everything. I didn't have much to start with, so
Yeah. So you open the window these are like offices, so they have windows that open. It's on the first floor or the ground floor,
Mhm.
and you do indeed see quite a few zombies moving around. There's not a lot of cars in the parking lot. When Z-Day happened, most people fled, and very few people actually came here. You see the tractor out there. You see that see that white truck, that F whatever I decided it was, super cab, and you even see Austin kind of over in the corner of the building, peeking your way, and you set you lean out and you put your thing down and you push the button or pull the cord, whatever it is you do to start this thing up, and you silently make your way out as it starts to rev up, and it makes this flapping, banging sound. Is that what we're looking
Yep.
for? And Austin, you see these zombies turn and move that way. And most of them move that way. So we pick up here in this good position you're in. Now it's up to you and Shun to make your way. How are you going to move across to get to the truck? I think you're muted.
I think what sparse cars there are will sort of dart from car to car, trying to keep something between us and the majority of the pack. Moving quickly and quietly, staying low.
Okay, great. You're going to make an avert disaster draw, okay?
Sweet.
So that's survival.
Okay.
It's not a zombie move because luckily you drew off most of the zombies, but something still could go wrong. So let's draw survivor, 3 cards on survival.
Okay. Got a miss, an edge, and a miss. All right.
Okay. So on an edge, you pull it through, but it will cost you. You'll get a hard bargain, an ugly choice, or a Pyrrhic victory. Pyrrhic? So you sneak, again, like a ninja, across this parking lot, moving from car to car, staying out of the vision of the zombies. You get to the truck, you put the key in. Is it a key, or do you think it has an electric lock key?
Let's say it's a proper key.
Okay, that sounds good. Maybe the electric key is the battery's dead on it, so you got to use old school. So you put the key in and you turn it, and immediately this klaxon, those loud, obnoxious alarms that luckily you don't hear that often, but back 10 years ago, you'd hear them all the time. Ring! This alarm goes off. And you and Shun, who's going to drive? It sounds like you're going to drive, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So you jump in and Shun jumps in the back. Okay. He jumps in, time is of the essence as these zombies turn. And again, these are not slow George Romero zombies. These are the fast 28 days later zombies. So they turn and they start hauling it towards you. This little flapping thing isn't stopping them anymore. They hear that loud thing and they see you. So you get in the truck, you hit the ignition. You're going to be able to drive over to, the entrance to the ambulance only drive next to, or where the ambulances would go to deliver people to the ER, where your buddies are waiting for you, with a herd of zombies pursuing the truck. Okay. So you guys, I guess it's Stanley, you're probably not there yet. You're probably making your way back around, right? Quietly as possible. And
sprinting more likely, I would say.
yeah, I was going to say, like, given the situation, given what you just heard and saw, you might be like, oh shit, and you're running now. Val and Sam, the truck arrives. Where do you guys go in the truck?
Val is just vaulting the side of the truck into the bed.
Okay. Sam?
In the cab, I guess.
Okay. So you open the door, you jump in the passenger side, and your friends, I guess we should establish too, how about your allies? So definitely Ahmad is Ahmad coming even, do you think?
I don't think so.
You think he would stay behind? Okay. And what about your other allies? Are they coming with us?
Domingo is coming because he's got a good set of tools and some heavy gloves if we've got to deal with barbed wire or anything like that.
Okay.
But I also picture Domingo as kind of heavy set, and he's probably not able to vault over the side of the bed.
Okay. So Domingo's going to jam into the cab. Who's in the middle? Or does he want to go in like the super cab, the little seats in the back, jam himself in there?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's in the little, I don't know what they call those, the mini seat, I'll call it. And Ahmad is not coming. What about Sonny? Matt?
Oh, Sandy.
Sandy.
I wasn't asking him to come, but if he wasn't, then I was going to borrow his rifle.
I will leave it to you. What do you tell him? Do you want it?
I think he should stay here.
Okay. So he's not staying. He's staying. Sandy staying, but gave Stanley the rifle.
Right.
All right. And we know what Shun and Austin are doing. Okay. And let me write down, Sam is in the cab and Val is in the bed and Shun is in the bed. Okay. So I think we have one more roll before you guys can tear out of here. I think we need to see Stanley charging at the truck as it slowly starts to roll. You guys are like getting the truck moving and Stanley comes tearing out the ER door with a whole bunch of zombies coming at sort of like, he's moving at a 45-degree angle and they're coming straight on. It's like, can he like get to the truck before the zombies get to him?
You need
So
that deck refreshed.
Yeah, hold on. This is probably going to be a zombie move. And you're going to be running from the dead. I think it's what's called. Flee the dead, yep. So you're going to draw survival. Does anyone want to risk drawing from the bite deck to help Stanley get to the truck? Any of you guys could be involved in this one.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Sam, Val.
I'm
Sure,
gonna let them handle this.
Okay. All right.
Val is all for himself.
All right. So
The 3 off the deck.
2 off the bite deck. Hold on, we're going to do the bite draws first.
Okay.
So Sam and Austin are willing to help. So either one of you guys, go ahead and draw a card from the bite deck.
Sweet. I got a threat. More zombies.
More zombies. Okay. And Sam, what'd you get?
Threat, something breaks.
Okay. Something breaks, and we got more zombies. Okay. We had another card in the bite deck. Did I accidentally recall that? I think I probably did.
No, I did already have 3 survival. I'm not sure we needed one.
Oh, the
Nice.
bite deck. The discard. You know how in the bite deck we don't reshuffle it. I think I accidentally reshuffled it at some point because we did have one card earlier tonight, and I shouldn't have reshuffled it. Anyways, it's not that super important. All right, so we got a couple threats. Nobody got bit. All right, so you're going to roll, or you're going to draw 5 survivor cards.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, so you got an
Yeah, let's
edge.
take that stress.
You want to take that stress? Okay. So you get the triumph. So on Flee the Dead, you escape and choose one from the list. So there's 3 bad things. You have to choose one of them on Flee the Dead. You run into another danger or crisis. You leave something or someone valuable behind. You draw from the bite deck or suffer serious harm. Your choice.
Let's take the bite deck.
Okay. So go ahead and flip another bite deck card. Threat, more zombies. We got a lot of zombies.
Oh man, there might not be an enclave to come back to.
Yeah.
They
Here's
might
that.
still all be following us, so we'll just have
All
to
right.
take the long way.
Okay. This is what happens. Stanley, you run, and inches ahead of a swarm of zombies, you're drawn into the bed. Or maybe Sam was willing to take a bite. So maybe do you want to be drawn into the bed or into the cab? I'm just thinking Sam was in the cab, but somebody else could have pulled you into the.
Yeah.
Okay, they pull you into the cab. So he pulls you in, and you slide up next to Domingo, who's taking up most of the room in the kiddie seats, and a whole bunch of zombies jump into the Austin in his panic hits the brake rather than the gas as predicted, and it slows down. All of you guys get thrown into the front, and Val, you're in the back. You're a big guy, so you slam into like the rear window, and you smash the rear window out. And Domingo's like, "Oh shit!" And glass topples onto him, and you hit the gas and you speed off, and a bunch of zombies have jumped into the back of the truck and are more or less wrestling with those of you that are back there. In addition, as you go speeding down this sort of access road that leads from the community into the hospital, so you lead, and we described, this community as it's an arboresque. That's not a right word. There's a lot of trees. It's a very pretty, heavily forested sort of suburban community that eventually opens up to these fields that are lined with trees, but are mostly open with farm fields. So you move out of this area, and vision is restricted, because of all of this pretty foliage, and you come down to the main road, and it is chock full of zombies. There are several hundred zombies just sort of milling around in this city square, and your truck goes kind of like, you can't brake fast enough. You hit some, you swerve, you're moving through this field of zombies with the other guys, wrestling with other zombies at the same time. I think that's a good time to call it a session. You find yourself in pretty much the same place you were last session at the end. Let me, first, before I forget, is everybody okay putting it on YouTube? Is anyone not comfortable? And if ever they're not, that's fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I think we'll say goodnight to any viewers, future people that might be watching this. One thing I want to say is I made a mistake. I said Lombard, Illinois has a CDC facility. Those viewers from Lombard, Illinois probably know this. There is no CDC facility in Lombard, Illinois. It's actually in Illinois. It's in Chicago. I moved it to Lombard, which is a pretty little city town in rural Illinois that is probably a nice place to visit. But my mistake. Okay, so I'm going to end the broadcast, and then we're going to talk about Stars and Wishes for a few minutes. We'll come back next week for session 3. Okay.